Hey, I've done a makeup tutorial for you. This is the finished look. I've broken it out into several parts, and what you're about to see is part one, which has to do with foundation as well as concealer and or reverse contour. I hope you enjoy it. Here's how you'll know I'm not a professional makeup artist. I do not use any moisturizer under my foundation. I do get oily a little bit here and here in my T-zone, not horribly, but a little bit. The rest of my skin throughout the day is pretty normal. It doesn't get particularly dry or particularly oily, which is pretty astonishing because I do use the tretinoin cream at the strongest strength, 0.1%, pretty much every single night. Most nights I will use a moisturizer after this has soaked in, but in the morning I do not. I will just wash my face in the shower with the La Roche-Posay Gentle Foaming Cleanser, but I do not use a moisturizer and I do not use a primer under my makeup. I know everyone out there is gasping, but it is what it is. I'm 52 and I'm gonna do what I want. Let's talk foundation. My friend Kelly taught me this trick to take a piece of tin foil. This is a food service piece of tin foil. It's folded in half and then I fold it in half again. And you can see I use this for a few days before I replace it. I'm going to be mixing foundations. 100% of the time, I'm going to mix my foundations. Today, I am choosing Too Faced Born This Way. This is a 24-hour oil-free, oil-controlling, waterproof, transfer-proof foundation. It is a matte formula, and it is in the color Golden Beige. I am a yellow olive complexion, so I'm using warm foundations. If you're pinky and you know you're pinky, you are going to be using cool formulations. And if you don't know if you're pinky or yellow gold olive, then you're neutral. That's a pretty good way for you to know your undertone. Again, I'm not a professional makeup artist, but I'm always going to mix two foundations, and the shades and the formulas depend on the rest of my body as far as how tan I am, because if I'm in the sun, I tan very quickly, and I do use sunscreen on my face and I wear a hat, but the rest of my body gets very tan in the sun. This foundation that I'm using is the Dior Forever Transfer Proof also, and it does have sunscreen, 15 level sunscreen, and I am the color 3WO, 3 Warm Olive. I am going to mix them, so I'm going to squirt them. 1 pump is 1.5 pumps-ish is plenty. I'm going to squirt them first on my tinfoil, about a squirt and a half of this on my tinfoil. I am going to now spray a setting spray directly on top of the foundation pumps on my tinfoil. That's another good thing about using a tinfoil is you can, this is like your palette that you're mixing. You can spray this on your brush, directly on your brush if you want to. And I'll tell you, I don't know that the types of brushes make that much of a difference. It's probably not a popular opinion among people who sell makeup brushes, but I don't really think that it makes that much of a difference. This happens to be a free brush that came with some Il Maquillage. I don't think the brush really makes that much of a difference. So don't go out and feel like you have to spend $100 on a brush. This one was free. Okay, so I'm just mixing this, and I'm now going to do kind of a combination between, stippling and smearing or brushing. Okay, and I'm gonna be quiet because I'm gonna speed this part up. So as many times as it's necessary to go back to your palette to pick up more product, if you see any areas that need additional stippling, please do that. I also am a firm believer in putting your foundation on your lips. This is why I do not use a lip balm under my makeup. I commented on a thread, people lost their ever-loving minds because I thought it was strange that people were putting lip balm on before they even put their foundation on. And I thought, how in the world do you do that? Because if you have a product on your lip, how do you get your foundation all the way to the edge of your lip? And also, I just think foundation helps your lipstick stay on. So if you're having trouble with your lipstick not staying on, you might want to give that a try. Be sure and bring some product down to your neck. We don't want as thick up here, down here, because you'll have a line, but we definitely want to blend it in. Now, let's move on to what I call reverse contouring. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this in half so we don't have any product on the surface. We're gonna tuck this away in our makeup drawer because we're gonna use it again tomorrow. Because I don't have any dark circles or any breakouts, thanks to spironolactone, 150 milligrams every night for cystic acne, I don't really have anything to conceal. So what I use this concealer for is a reverse contour. And what we want to do is we want to bring forward anything that is deeply recessed that we don't like. So for example, the marionette lines, I'm going to put a reverse contour or a cream highlighter or a concealer in these areas right here. We're going to blend that out to help bring them forward a little bit. We're going to trick the eye. Also, I don't really have sunken under eye, but I do think it looks a little better when I put this here. I'm going to put some on the bridge of my nose because I have a very wide nose right here, very wide, and I'm self-conscious about it. So I want to trick the eye and bring this out, and then I will later contour this on the side to kind of make my nose look thinner than it really is. I'm going to do just a little bit right here in the center of the forehead. Again, we're going to narrow the forehead by bringing this out. And then the last place I'm going to put this is I'm going to put this right down here, about a ½ inch or so above the jawline, because I want to trick the eye into thinking these two areas protrude more and this area sinks in, and it's going to accentuate or give the illusion of a more prominent cheekbone. Again, I'm not a professional, but I think this works for me. I have a lot of ways that I blend this, and I really can't tell you what makes me decide what product to pick up. I really like the Beauty Blender, and no, I do not wet this. I know the instructions say to wet this, but I generally do not. So I think that this works just fine, and I am just pouncing it kind of firmly on the areas where I have the reverse contour, and it blends very well. Please know I don't have any filter. Not only do I not have any filter on, because that would be ridiculous to put a filter on when I'm doing a makeup video. The only light that I have, this is just on a bendy tripod, and the only light that I have is my Amazon makeup mirror. And I'll show you a picture here of what that makeup mirror looks like. So this is the only light that I have other than the overhead light in my bathroom. I want to keep it real so you can, see for what it really is. All right, now I'm going to show you what it looks like if you use a brush on the other side, because I don't think it looks any different. This is a super cheap, this came in the TikTok shop, super cheap, like a million brushes for $7 or whatever. And I don't think it works any better or any worse than the Beauty Blender. This is just an example for you that people are going to try to sell you expensive things from time to time. And I don't think we need to fall prey, to what people tell us we have to spend a lot of money on. And then this is the first thing I ever bought from the TikTok shop. This is the BK Beauty. It says Angie Hot and Flashy, and the number is A506. I don't have my glasses on, but A506, and it looks like this because I haven't cleaned it in 100 years. And I'm going to use this to do the marionette lines. And I think you'll find that no matter what product you choose, whether it's the Beauty Blender, a cheap brush, or, a quote, nice brush, the end result is pretty much the same. I think the Beauty Blender does give you an easier, more broad surface, and you don't have to spend as much time blending out the product if you use the Beauty Blender. So for that reason, I do prefer it. I just think, it saves time, and I'm not really getting any fine, tight area that I'm doing this product on. So this little brush is not really needed. So this completes step one, basically step 1 and 2 of my foundation look, which is the mixing of the foundations, the setting spray, the stippling on, and the reverse contour. And this is the Kosas concealer in the shade 02W. That's what I use. Love this product. The next segment that I'll be posting will be about contouring and bronzer. I will break blush out into a separate video. Wanted to do these in little bite-sized videos to make it a little bit easier, and I wanted to have enough time to tell you about the product. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next step.